Hello, dear friend. Trying something new today, which is using Zoom for Facebook Live early morning. My thought is, sometimes I have videos I want to create to explain something, to express something that I believe is important to share. And it's tough to get those videos into reality. Harriet Tubman, 2019 movie, has been gnawing at me for months now, and I got to get it into reality, got to put it into reality, my thoughts. My thought is, if the Civil War was today, which side would you choose to serve and possibly give your life? Are you not sensitive to the injustice in America today for the many years I've been explaining about America, K-12 public education, telling children what to memorize before ever teaching children how to memorize? Are you not sensitive to the struggle, the suffering, the pain, and the injustice? That's what I picked up on the movie Harriet Tubman. 1800s, so I'm still researching the Civil War, 1861, and she was sensitive to the pain, the struggle, suffering, and pain and injustice of the Negroes, and raised herself up to speak clearly, that she spoke to the senators and the representatives and the governors to help them to understand. I've been speaking as clearly as I can to you, to senators, to representatives, to the media, and it seems like everybody's on the Confederate side. Are you a Confederate? Due to our lack of education in America, personally, I will share with you my lack of understanding of the Civil War. It took me a while reading and really to think through, holy heck, just like we got the Green Bay Packers against the Chicago Bears, what were the two teams? In a very succinct way of understanding, what are the titles, the names of the two teams? Well, the United States of America versus the Confederate States of America. I didn't have that simplistic understanding due to the terrible K-12 public education. Those are the teams. So I'm researching those teams to understand, but basically in a nutshell, this is it. Harriet Tubman and those who gave their life to free the Negroes from slavery understood the struggle, the suffering, the pain, and the injustice. 1861 through, I believe, 1864. Then I try and lock that into a timeline of understanding. My first car I purchased at 15 and a half years old was a 1964, 1957 Chevy. My second car was a 1964 Chevy Impala. So the Civil War, when that car was made, was just 100 years prior. So it gives me a time reference on how young our country is and how short time ago that was. The Civil War. Somehow, Harriet Tubman could see through what many others thought was common. What do you mean? We shouldn't own Negroes? So many people, that didn't resonate. Well, of course, this is what we do. Who would work our farms? Who would help us with our plantation? Made no sense to many. So I'm trying to bring through to you that understanding. Come on, man. Which side are you on? United for the children? Or are you basically a Confederate? This isn't what we do in school. We simply test children without actually teaching them first how to memorize. We teach them on their ability to remember. I'm hoping you can be like Harriet. If you've not seen the movie, I hope you watch the movie and think through. Way back when, 1861, not that far ago, And Harriet and others could see through that and see that injustice against major opposition to let things be the way they were, giving their lives for that. So like Harriet, I've tried to get into the schools. I've been rejected. I've tried to get in to help the children to go in like Harriet, and I've been pushed back, pushed out. I've spoken to principals. I've spoken to charter school principals. I'm reaching out to senators. I'm reaching out to representatives. I'm reaching out to our media. Like Harriet, I'm being very proactive, putting my life on the line, spending my time, spending my energy, sending out mailings, postcards, handbills, Facebook Live, investing, pressing out. Where are those who will join the United States of America to be united in this understanding? I hope you watch the movie and I hope you think through. Go back to that time, 1861. Harriet Tubman. And there were Negroes who said, hey, I don't want any part of that. Freedom? What would I do? What would I do with my family? I have children. There were those who chose not to be free. When I talk to children, they understand the injustice. They share with me their struggle, their suffering, and their pain. They understand. The children and the teenagers understand. Will you help me to create this change, to right this injustice? Or will you be a Harriet Tubman? So there's much more I want to put into my presentation, my official presentation, but I got to get it out there, man. It's gnawing at me. What's so difficult for Americans to understand about this injustice I've been pointing out for so many years? Who will put their shoulder to the wheel? Or are we just going to kind of real simple, man. W. Edwards Deming, America's founding father of total quality management, lived from 1900 to 1993. Only the method matters. What method are we teaching our children to memorize? We're not. It's like sending somebody into war with a gun but no bullets. Good luck against the enemy of life. That gun, we should have 2 pistols. No. Did Harriet use pistols? 1 pistol, memorizing. So as we go into higher education, we're locked and loaded. We understand a proven, dependable, repeatable method for memorizing. In the right hand, we're locked and loaded. We understand a proven, dependable, repeatable method for creating. We're ready for battle in life, for learning and career, for education and career. What's so, gee, boy, I wonder if Harriet would get that. I think she would. Otherwise, 99.9999999% of American children are graduating high school with neither gun locked and loaded. They don't understand. They've never learned a proven, dependable, repeatable method for memorizing. They've never learned a proven, dependable, repeatable method for creating. And now they're off as an adult in what looks like it's going to be a pretty tough future. So will you help to arm America's children and teenagers with a understanding? So yeah, so I'm trying to polish up this presentation, but when I discovered the ease and usability of the path of least resistance for this video, I thought, well, get it out there, man. And if you have any comments to share. So the 2 teams, the United States of America and the Confederate States of America. And how many lives were given to correct that injustice, which in 1861 was difficult to see, was difficult to understand. You got to see through it, man. What's Thought is common is not correct, is unjust. What's thought as a way of life, Harriet Tubman understood, is not correct. So we have to see through the current injustice of our K-12 public education system. There is a very specific reason why No Child Left Behind failed. There's a very specific reason why charter schools are actually doing a little bit worse than public schools. There's a very specific reason why Arizona's Ames testing, Arizona's instrument to measure standards, failed. There's a very specific reason why the new AZ merit after another 4 to 5 years has failed. We have to see through this concept that we all share because we grew up as slaves to being told what to memorize before being taught how to memorize. We must free our children and our teenagers from this slavery, from this injustice. Being slaves to rote memory, being slaves to problem solving. Instead of being masters of memorizing and masters of creating, masters of our own domain. So will you be Harriet Tubman? Will you step forward and join the United States, could say of America, of education, of a true education, or you're going to be the Confederate and demand that things stay the way they are? I see the injustice very clearly. I personally experienced that injustice, and I'm trying to hang on to it and remember that injustice for the sake of America's children and teenagers and teachers. Can you not go back to your K-12 public education, maybe your college, university years, and see that injustice? Can you not see that injustice? Harriet Tubman could see the injustice, the suffering, the struggle, the pain. Yikes. How many times I got to explain it? Based on the thrilling and inspirational life of iconic American freedom fighter, Harriet tells the extraordinary tale of Harriet Tubman's escape from slavery, and transformation into one of America's greatest heroes. Haunted by memories of those she left behind, Harriet ventures back into dangerous territory on a mission to lead others to freedom. Yeah, I'm slightly haunted by those we're leaving behind that are continuing to go through being told what to memorize before being taught how to memorize. I can sense, I understand that struggle, that suffering, and that pain. Like Harriet Tubman. No one needs to convince me. No one needed to remind Harriet. Yet Harriet spoke to people very high up in government and connected with them. Helped them. This Negro lady was able to convince the white men. Put it that way. So how much convincing do you need? 1861, eyes wide open. 2020 vision, are your eyes wide open? Holy heck, man, 1861. Understanding. Man, how many times I got to explain? Yeah, it's exhausting. It's going to take more than Russell. It took more than Harriet to fight the war, to win the war. I hope you join the correct army, because, man, we can't just keep leaving things the way they are. We have to free America's children and teenagers and our teachers from the burden of rote memory, from the burden of an incorrect K-12 public education. When the rule is broken, it's another video I'm trying to do. When there's a lack of the rule of law, chaos in the streets. There is lack of rule in the streets. So what you're seeing on the streets in America today is a direct result of failure to establish the rule of law. Never tell a child what to do unless you first taught that child how to do. We've broken that rule since 1956, telling children what to memorize before teaching children how to memorize. And I hear people, they'll post on my Facebook after a presentation like this, you got to get it into you got to get into the family. Well, who do you think the family is? Who do you think the mothers and fathers are? They're products of, since 1956, this injustice, breaking this rule of law. No, you're not going to get into every home in America. Where the children are is in K-12 public education. And they can bring it home to the mothers and the fathers. The correct thinking, the critical thinking. No, I may not need to go to college because I'm only going to go to college to specifically learn what I need to learn, want to learn as it pertains to where I'm going, to the life I'm going to create. Again, I could talk forever. I'll keep it talking, okay? So if you have a comment to share, please let me know. Which side are you on? Are you awake as Harriet Tubman? Or are you going to post something on this post that's not on point with what I'm sharing with you? That's due to a lack of critical thinking. This is the playing field right now. The playing field is, are you sensitive to the struggle, the suffering, the pain, the injustice in K-12 public education? Will you fight to free our children, our teenagers, and our teachers?